Hello and welcome to a special edition of Success Track. I'm Gerald Bryant. On each Success Track program, we strive to give you the best and most in-depth information about how to succeed in your career, how to succeed as an entrepreneur, how to succeed in financial planning and money management. But let's face it, sometimes we all need a little wake-up call, a kickstart to remind us that once we have the essential information, it does us no good if it goes unused. And that's where our special guest comes in. Ivory Dorsey has already had a successful corporate career, and as the founder of her own management consultant company, Golden Eagle Business Services, she enjoys continued success and is one of Success Track's favorite motivators. Karen Duva talks with Ivory as she shares her unique insights on redefining success.
After a highly successful career with the Xerox Corporation, Ivory Dorsey felt the need to stretch her wings. In 1984, she founded Golden Eagle Business Services. Drawing on her corporate background and her experience as an educator, Ivory has built an impressive client list, including several Fortune 500 firms. Her consulting company is based on principles which produce results, principles like resilience and risk-taking. Her philosophy is, to adapt is to survive.
Ivory, you begin a lot of your speeches talking about redefining success. Why did you decide it was time for you to redefine success?
For two reasons, Karen. One of the reasons is the world is changing. Everything that we've known as reality has changed and is going to continue to change. The other thing is people are going to have to start to really believe in who they are. They're going to have to understand that they must set their own standard. They must understand that if people are saying everybody is doing it, then you must understand that everybody starts with someone, why not you? I've spent my entire life with people trying to fix me, telling me I was too this and too that. And fortunately, I didn't let them fix me. I redefined success for myself years ago because I learned that if I was going to be myself, then I had to be myself without regard for what other people said.
And you also decided you were going to be successful.
Absolutely. There was no other reason. In my mind, even as a child, I've always felt that I was okay. If someone did not understand me, if they had a problem with what I did, or for some reason they were trying to set standards for me, then I felt that I had not done an adequate job in demonstrating to them who I was or what I was. But I've never questioned myself from the inside out.
You took your experience in the corporate world and you've made a career of your experience.
Yes.
What did you learn most, if you can say what you learned most about being in the corporate structure?
Not to let them fix me. In fact, I could truly say at this moment that had I allowed corporate America to fix me when I entered the workplace 20 years ago, I would not be successful today.
How's that?
Because the way I am is free. Mm-hmm. I'm a risk taker. I'm into innovation. I believe that if it's broken, then fix it, and if it's not broke, look at it. Mm-hmm. I believe that perfection is not the end, that possibilities is where you want to be. I've always believed in designing my own profile. And of course, years ago in the workplace, they were into following the rules, they were into policies and procedures, they were into protocol, they were into all of these things where you followed the masses. And I've never followed the masses. And so as corporate America went, now what I did learn is that there were rules and there was a game. And if you understood that there was a game, and if you understood the rules, you could play without sacrificing yourself. And so my challenge was always to make sure that I survived, but that I did not succumb.
What is your advice to people when you say, learn to play the game? Like you just said,
right.
Don't lose yourself in it, but there are some people who just plainly don't know how to play the game.
Well, that's because they don't know it is a game. And people don't like to say it's a game. But the bottom line is whenever you enter any type of environment, there are going to be people. And people are going to be people everywhere they go. The players will change, the places will change, but people are going to be people. And they also must understand that people are going to look out for themselves first. People do things for their reasons, not your reason. And so when you know that, then you know that you must go in and find out how to survive in the midst of that. To me, a lot of success has to do with being able to expand and to contract at the proper moment. It doesn't mean that you are small and you're going to stay small. Mm-hmm. It doesn't mean that you're big and you're going to stay big. It just means that if you're going to survive in the environment, you must be flexible. That's why my philosophy is to adapt is to survive. People will always look out for themselves. It's human nature. And once we understand that and we don't take it personally, then we are more apt to adjust and to do whatever we need so that we don't become victims.
That's a very key word, victims.
Yes.
And as people are being laid off, big company layoffs,
Right.
they feel like a victim. And how can they not feel like a victim?
Well, first of all, they need to understand that that job is not their home. The second thing they need to understand is business is going to do what's best for business. And I tell people this, you've been on the job 20 years. How long would you have stayed there had they not paid you after the first week, after the first month? There's a contract with business. And the contract is not to give you a job, it's to survive. So when they hired you based on what their needs were at that time. And the agreement was you would deliver your services to them for a paycheck. As long as they paid you, you delivered the service. So why is it you feel that they should pay you if they don't think they need the service anymore? I've never believed that I deserved to be anywhere.
There's also a lot of different other circumstances, though, that people lose their jobs. And it may not be for those reasons. How can people should not take it personally? You talk about that in your book.
Well, other things like personal problems, personalities, that's people. Remember, everywhere you go, you're going to find people. They're going to have different agendas. Sometimes there will be legal agendas. Sometimes there will be illegal agendas. Sometimes they will be for the good of the organization. Sometimes it will be for the good of themselves. But you don't let someone else's ignorance dictate your success. Because people will be threatened sometimes. I was a threat to a lot of people. And I knew, I could know when I walk into a room if I met someone, if they were going to be intimidated by me. And so for a specific period of time, I would work with that. Once I determined that this person was so insecure that I was not going to be able to shrink enough, then I found a way to either get them promoted or get myself out of the way. So we can't walk around letting other people handle us. People ask me, how is life treating me? I don't let life treat me. Life is like the sun. It'll shine on anybody who will get out in it. You must make sure that you take control of your own destiny at all times. And you must understand that no matter what happens with these organizations, you are the best thing that you have going for you. And you got to be good enough to stay or good enough to go. Because you could be a victim of someone's ego. You could be a victim of circumstance. You could be a victim of change. You could be a victim of technology. You could be, and if you make yourself at their disposal, you're not going to be worth anything. The way I look at it is someone let me go prematurely, that's their loss. And I'm going on to the next opportunity. And not only with jobs, people too. You must understand when to take hold and when to let go, and not let other people be in control of your destiny. The only single thing that you can change is your attitude. And I learned that in a very painful way. People are going to do what is best for them. Self-preservation has always been the first law of nature. And you do what's best for yourself. Now, in my mind, the best thing that I could do is make sure that I'm an asset wherever I go, to make sure that I add value wherever I go, to try to make sure that people feel better as a result of my coming. But when I run into people that no matter what I do, it gets on their nerves, then I make sure that I get on my train and get out of there. Or I get them on their train and let them get out of there. Now we are in the throes of competition like we have never seen it before, and nobody is safe. And nobody is safe. If you are working for a company and you're starting to get antsy because they're laying people off around you and you think they're coming to take you away, well, you're probably right because you're thinking about the wrong thing. What you need to do is to help them to beat the competition, because that's the only way the company is going to survive. They cannot survive unless you help them.